Hi, I'm Sunshine. Today I'm going to walk you through making a decoction. Decoctions are used when you have a woody herb like dandelion or yellow dock. And what you're going to do is you're going to simmer them until you reduce the volume of water by 1/4. This is really easy and makes your kitchen smell wonderful depending on the herb you're using. For my kids, yellow dock and dandelion smell a lot like soap, so they think I'm cleaning. Bonus! Anyways, the basic recipe for decoctions is 1 ounce of dried herb to 1 pint of water. When you put it in the pot, you're going to want to take notice of the water level, so that you can kind of gauge where your quarter mark is. The recipe I'm going to be making today is a constipation remedy using yellow dock, licorice, and dandelion roots. Stay tuned. Okay, the first thing you need to do when you're making any recipe is gather all your tools, the herbs you're going to use, so that you don't have to go finding them while you're in the middle of making something. For me, I told you I was making a constipation remedy, and I needed, my herbs are yellow dock, I have my licorice root, and I have my dandelion root. My recipe calls for 2 parts dandelion, 1 part licorice, and 1 part yellow dock. So for measurement purposes and keeping that ounce of dried herbs, I'm going to do a 1/2 ounce of the yellow dock and a 1/4 ounce of both the licorice root and dandelion root. Okay, so here's all my tools. I got my herbs and my strainer and my bowls, and then I got 2 measuring. This one gets me down to 1/10 and goes up to my larger volumes, whereas this one doesn't go as high in full ounces, but gets me down to the hundredths in the smaller ounce numbers that I need. So I have measured my herbs out, and I've added them to the pot with the water, and I have it simmering, and I'll show you that in just a second. I've just had to cut around some of the interruptions that my children have come in and done. So please excuse me. This is the first time attempting this. Thank you. Okay, here I've got it simmering pretty well, and I've still got my reference of how deep, and we're trying to get that down by 1/4 to where 3/4 of the herbs are still in there, and then we will strain it later. Okay, here you see that my water line's been reduced, and you can still see the steam coming off of it. I'm going to let it cool before I start straining, because it gets really hot sometimes. So my decoction's ready to be strained. I like to use coffee filters, and then I have this strainer, which I'll put in here. And then we'll pour the decoction through the strainer. Make sure I can see. And let that go ahead and strain. And what I'll do is I will scrape the rest of the herb in there so that it strains a little bit better. But as you can see, the filter's working and the decoction's straining in there. And I'll wait for that to strain and show you what I've got. Okay, so I've got all my herbs in this coffee filter, and I've got a second one that's in here so I can really get all of the herbal debris, the herb out of it. So I'm going to gently squeeze this to try and get, and some of the herbs are coming out, that's why I have 2. And we'll get as much of the fluid out of the herbs as possible. So I've got my first strain done, and I've got a secondary bowl, and I'm going to strain it one more time, maybe 2, so I can get it as pure as possible. So I'm all done with my straining, and I'm ready to finish up and wrap up my project. The decoctions are a lot stronger than infusions and teas, but they also do have a shelf life. They can be refrigerated up to 72 hours. So just keep that in mind when you make any decoction, and on how long and how much herbs you really want to use. I made a small one because it says you can drink up to 3 cups a day for constipation. I don't want to drink up to 3 cups right now, but it is a good remedy, and probably just use a teaspoon to a tablespoon in a cup of water every couple hours until you have some relief. But hope you enjoyed. This was extremely tough for me to do, and I stepped outside my comfort zone to do it, and I hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit something. Thank you. Have a nice day.